Aliens. Are they real? No, but some people think they are. Dr. Maurice Ewing was not one of those people. He was an inventor, scholar, and oceanographer. One of his more major contributions to science was the discovery of the sound channel. In the 1930s, Dr. Ewing discovered a band of water 1 kilometer below the surface that, due to its temperature, salinity, and density, had the unique property of preventing sound waves from penetrating its upper and lower bounds. This means that sound emanating from within the barrier is always reflected back towards the center of the channel as it propagates horizontally. So sound can travel thousands of kilometers. But before he could carry on with his research, the world powers got together and said, hey, do you guys remember like 21 to 25 years ago when we all fought each other? Oh yeah, the Great War, the war to end all wars. Right. Well, probably best to rename that because Poland just became Greater Germany and we're making a sequel. The entire world went insane for like 5 years. When the US entered the war, they were very good at one thing in particular, making war machines. Their economy was huge. At peak production, they were manufacturing a combat or support aircraft every 6 minutes. What they couldn't do was create a combat effective pilot every 6 minutes. So Air Force personnel became a limiting factor to the war movement. It became important to not just recruit more pilots, but also keep the other ones alive. Dr. Ewing developed a device called a SOFAR sphere to help recover pilots. In particular, pilots who survived what is now known by commercial airlines as a water landing. If a pilot survived a crash in the ocean, they were instructed to drop one of these spheres into the water and just wait. The sphere was designed to sink and implode when it reached the sound channel. The sound would reach a series of underwater microphones, and based on the time each mic picked up the implosion, the Air Force could triangulate the location of the pilot and save them. The war ended shortly after this device was deployed, but there is little evidence to show causation. A few years later, the world superpowers got together and said, hey, do you guys remember 2 years ago when like 3% of the world's population died? Oh yeah, that was a mess. Right, well, hear me out. Maybe we should threaten to do it again, but with nukes this time. Oh, and for 40 years, we'll make kids crawl under their desks because that will definitely help. And so the Cold War began and military attention shifted from the seas to the skies. Dr. Ewing continued with his clever inventing ways and theorized that if there was a sound channel underwater, maybe there was one in the atmosphere as well. And he was right. 50 kilometers above sea level is another sound channel. So the US military began Operation Mogul. The idea was to place microphones in this sound channel so that they could monitor Soviet atomic bomb testing in the same way they could find downed pilots. The microphones could tell the location, time, and approximate size of ordnance, an incredible advantage in an arms race. The microphones were attached to balloons and suspended by springs in these tetrahedrons. However, these balloons were very difficult to control, and in 1947, one of them crashed in a state called New Mexico. A rancher by the name of William Brazel found the device and immediately threw it under a tree because he was busy. A week later, he informed the local sheriff of the nearby town of Roswell, who told the Air Force about the device, and the Air Force said, hey, thanks, that's definitely our testing device. Then published a conflicting report the next day stating it was just a weather balloon. Some very imaginative people noticed the discrepancy and claimed it was government cover-up, which it was, but the military wasn't going to confirm or deny. Lying about something inland beat having the Soviets knowing about your spying technology. In the 1950s, seismograph technology and satellites replaced Project Mogul, and the sound channel fell out of use. After the fall of the USSR, Project Mogul was declassified, and the information has been publicly available since 1993. And that's the story of Roswell. No aliens, just a bunch of floating microphones listening to communist bombs, which might be cooler.